The motherboard. Think of the motherboard as the city where all your computer parts live. It's a flat board covered in circuits, connectors, and tiny highways for electricity. Every major part, the CPU, RAM, GPU, and storage plugs into it. Without it, your computer is just a pile of expensive parts that don't talk to each other. The motherboard makes sure power flows to each part and that data travels in the right direction. Despite being so important, it's usually cheaper than the parts sitting on top of it. What really matters are the type of slots and connections it offers. If the motherboard doesn't support a modern CPU or fast RAM, you're stuck with outdated performance. That's why building a computer always starts with choosing the right motherboard. It sets the rules for what upgrades are possible. You could say it's not the heart of the computer, it's the backbone. Everything connects here, and if it fails, the entire system shuts down. The CPU. The CPU, or Central Processing Unit, is a tiny square chip that does an enormous amount of work. It sits in the middle of the motherboard, usually hidden under a fan or cooler. Think of it as the brain of the computer. Every click, keystroke, or program command passes through it. When you type a word, the CPU processes that input and makes it appear on your screen. When you open a game or a browser, it's the CPU that does the calculations. Its speed is measured in gigahertz, which basically means how many billions of instructions it can handle every second. A weak CPU can make even a powerful graphics card feel useless because it bottlenecks performance. Modern CPUs don't just think fast, they multitask. Many have multiple cores, which are like extra mini brains working side by side. That's why a 6-core or 8-core processor can juggle video editing, streaming, and gaming without breaking a sweat. Small, powerful, and very expensive, the CPU is proof that size doesn't matter when it comes to raw computing power. The GPU. If the CPU is the brain, the GPU, the graphics processing unit, is the artist. It's a larger rectangular board with its own powerful chip and usually one or more fans strapped on top. While the CPU handles logic and math, the GPU takes care of visuals, images, animations, 3D graphics, and video rendering. When you're gaming, the GPU turns millions of calculations into smooth, lifelike visuals. Without it, you'd be stuck with blocky graphics and slow performance. Dedicated GPUs are powerful but pricey, making them one of the most expensive parts of a computer. Some CPUs come with integrated graphics, meaning the GPU is built directly into the processor. That's fine for browsing, video streaming, or light games, but it struggles with modern, graphics-heavy titles. Gamers and content creators almost always choose a dedicated graphics card for serious performance. Think of the CPU as the strict mathematician and the GPU as the wild painter. Together, they make a computer smart and beautiful. Hard drive. The hard drive, or HDD, is where your computer stores everything permanently. Your operating system, programs, pictures, videos, even the weird memes you downloaded in 2012. Inside, it works like a tiny record player, a spinning magnetic disc, and a mechanical arm that reads and writes data. The big advantage of hard drives is capacity. You can store terabytes of data for relatively cheap. The downside? They're slow. Because the arm has to physically move, finding files takes time. Imagine a giant warehouse full of boxes. You know the tool you need is in there, but you have to walk through aisles, open boxes, and dig around. That's how a hard drive feels compared to modern storage. It gets the job done, but slowly. That's why hard drives are often paired with faster drives to balance storage space with speed. RAM. RAM, or random access memory, is your computer's short-term memory. It looks like slim green sticks that slot into the motherboard. RAM doesn't store data permanently. Instead, it keeps the files and programs your CPU is actively using right now. Think of the hard drive as your messy garage. It holds everything you own, but finding the right tool takes forever. RAM is your tool bag. You can't fit everything inside it, but you can grab the tools you need instantly without running back and forth. The more RAM you have, the more programs you can run smoothly at the same time. That's why having 16 GB or 32 GB of RAM makes a huge difference when gaming, editing, or multitasking. But here's the catch. The moment you turn off your computer, RAM forgets everything. That's why it works hand in hand with long-term storage. SSD. An SSD, or a solid-state drive, does the same job as a hard drive. It stores your files, but much faster. Instead of moving parts, it uses memory chips. That means no spinning disks, no waiting for an arm to find your data. Everything is nearly instant. Booting up your computer on an HDD can take over a minute. On an SSD, it's seconds. Games load faster, apps open instantly, and your whole computer just feels smoother. The trade-off used to be cost. SSDs were much more expensive per gigabyte than hard drives, but prices have dropped so so much that SSDs have become the standard. Many modern computers don't even ship with hard drives anymore. Think of the SSD as upgrading from a delivery truck to a rocket ship. Same job, just way faster. Cooling. Computers generate heat, lots of it. The CPU, GPU, and even the power supply can get scorching hot. Without cooling, performance drops, parts wear out faster, or the whole system can shut down. That's why cooling is essential. The most common solution is fans. Some sit directly on the CPU, others push hot air out of the case while pulling cool air in. High-end setups use liquid cooling, where water carries heat away from hot components to a radiator. It sounds fancy, but it's basically like a car engine's cooling system. Without proper cooling, even the most expensive computer turns into a useless, overheated box. So while fans might seem boring, they're the unsung heroes that keep everything running. Power supply and case. The power supply unit, or PSU, is a metal box that converts electricity from your wall into safe, usable power for your computer. It feeds energy to every single component, from the CPU to the fans. A bad power supply can fry your system, so quality here really matters. Finally, all these parts live inside the case. The case isn't just a box, it's protection, organization, and cooling all in one. It has vents, dust filters, and cable space to keep airflow smooth. Cases also come in different sizes, from tiny compact builds to giant towers for gaming monsters. Without a case, your computer is just a dangerous pile of wires. With one, it's a machine. And that's your computer broken down piece by piece. Next time you sit at your desk, remember it's not just a computer, it's a city of parts working together, each one vital.